And we're back on halftime now to Dominic Chu with today's ETF Edge. Dom?
All right, good afternoon, Frank. So if we talk about the ETF Edge side of things, we have continued market uncertainty. One of the biggest new trends in the business has been the packaging up of hedge fund style strategies in an ETF wrapper. So joining us now is Paisley Nardini, Managing Director and Portfolio Manager at Simplify ETFs. And Paisley, one of the interesting things that I'm curious about is just how much more demand, how much more popular have these types of alternatives-based ETF strategies become?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Dominic. Happy to be here. I would say a big catalyst for the interest and adoption of a lot of these alternative ETFs, mutual fund strategies on the market, is really what we saw started in mid-2022 with the increase in interest rates. And I think we're dealing with that exact same theme today, almost 2 years later from when the Fed first started to raise rates. Is are bonds providing that ballast in a portfolio? Are they offsetting your equity risk? And as we've seen all of the volatility year to date and really the return of diversification, I would say diversification is absolutely back in the portfolio. And so using alternative sources of risk and return to help hedge against that equity drawdown risk and really protect when bonds are just adding more volatility to the portfolio.
All right, so Paisley, the other question I have now is, where do you think a lot of the demand is coming from with regard to these types of products? Is it from individuals, high net worth, ultra high net worth, family offices, pension funds? What's driving the demand there?
I would say all of the above. Every week we're having conversations with all of those allocators that you just spoke to. And I think a lot of this was maybe born out of the retail investor space with some of the inverse ETFs or the highly levered ETFs. And that's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about institutional caliber strategies that have historically been in those sovereign wealth funds, in those institutional pension portfolios, and now are available in ETF wrappers. And so as a result, we're seeing very sophisticated RIAs, high net worth advisor firms, platforms offering these strategies as another way to build kind of a more robust portfolio for these allocators. So really all of the above. And again, this is like truly an institutional type strategy that's being brought to investors. And historically, those long short strategies, absolute return focused strategies is really what's in question here.
All right, it's a fascinating discussion. Paisley Nardini at Simplify, thank you very much for that. We've, by the way, got lots more coming up on the recent explosion of these new ETF products. That's going to come up at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Just go to cnbc.com/ETF Edge. Paisley will be joined by financial futurist Dave Nadig, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'll send things, Frank, back over to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot. Our Dom Chu with today's ETF Edge.